Hello everyone, how are we doing today? So it's still Sunday morning, 10 to 12, and I've just been to pick up my shopping from Asda. Other superstores are available though. So yeah, what we've been up to this weekend. Unfortunately guys, today is meant to be the Tour Ford, don't know what they call it, Tour Ford car show really. The one we went to last year where we took the Transit and the Lamborghini, and we had and John Burnell there at Talk very kindly give us the sort of front row stand. He did offer it to us again this year, but unfortunately it was our wedding anniversary yesterday and also my wife's birthday. So this weekend I thought it was a little bit selfish of me to disappear down to Tor and just spend the day with a load of boys and cars. Better do something with her really. So not only that guys, but it is absolutely peeing down here at the moment, so the last thing I'm going to be doing is getting that Lambo out, and I also do not want to be standing there in the rain gawping at cars, to be honest with you. Today's video, if I say I'm just going to pop down to the workshop, you're going to say, well, I thought you were spending the day with your wife, but her mum's just turning up for about an hour to give her a present, etc. So before we go out, I'm going to whip down the workshop and just run you over our S50 engine, because I'm fairly excited about this. I had Paul in on Friday to finish off as much as he can. He couldn't get the sump on because I think we're waiting for a rear seal cover gasket, which means you need to get the rear seal cover on before you can put the sump on. So he's loosely put the sump on, but I spent probably 2 or 3 hours on Thursday having a look at the timing. I thought, it's been bugging me. I've been walking past that engine for weeks and weeks, and every time I look over in its general direction, I think, oh, I need to get that timing done. I need to, because believe it or not, although we build engines and we do quite a lot of BMW stuff, I haven't really been involved in sort of setting up and putting on the Vanos units, especially on an S50 when you've got the twin Vanos there. So one of our subscribers very kindly sent me the genuine BMW workshop instructions to set up these Vanoses. So I've spent a good 2 or 3 hours reading through that to sort of teach myself how to do it correctly, and I think I've done it, guys. So yeah, it's one of those things, out of all the engines we do, that Vanos system there just seems like a bit of a complicated setup really. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of you BMW techs out there that say, well, it ain't really, Lee, what the hell's the matter with you? If you build engines, it should be simple enough, but it doesn't seem it to me. So yeah, I think I've managed to sort it. There's a bit of a knack. I also had a friend of mine, Chris Ince from Renault. He's a Renault tech at County Renault, and those boys are into track cars big time. Although he has got a turbo Clio with about 400 horsepower, he's involved with an E36, I think it is. It might be an E46, can't remember now. But a few of his mates have got BMWs, M Sports and that, and he got involved with, we actually did the cylinder head, but he got involved with an S54 and did all the Vanos on that himself and timed it all up. So I got Chris over on Thursday just to sort of have a look over it and make sure what I thought I'd learned is correct, and he verified that. So we've done all that, guys. We've turned the engine over and over, we've put all the timing pins back in, and all seems to be good. I've even stuck a compression tester in each one and just turned it over by hand, and it's popped up to whatever it is. Literally just turned it over by hand, and it's literally popped up to about 30 psi and just held there. So we know we haven't got any bent valves, guys, and we know it's holding compression, which is good. At this stage I thought it's all a bit of a tight fit in the E30, so I may as well sort of check little things like that, make sure it's all good for us to just dump in the hole there. So yeah, that's where we've been at, guys. It's 2 reasons. I want that engine all back together because there's bits everywhere, and I want it all ready so when we get the car back, hopefully before Christmas, all painted, we can just literally drop that motor in. It's all built up, ready to go. And not only that, but we could do with our bay back, so I can get some more engine strips, really. So yeah, I'm going to head down the workshop. That's providing that she lets me, guys, just for half hour, and I'll run you over what we've done and how good the engine's looking, and that really will be it for today's video. So yeah, hopefully see you in a bit, guys. So guys, we've managed to sneak down to the workshop for half an hour quickly just to show you this S50 motor. Now it's all pretty much done. So first of all, this is the bench. So the bench is pretty much clear. You see we've got a few leftover nuts and bolts there, but most of those, I think Paul knows where they go, because down there we've got a box of a few bits like engine mounts, etc. To go back on. We've got the old bits down there in the box. See the old clutch down on the floor, which obviously we're not going to use. That can go in the bin. We have the new clutch here with our funky little clutch plate, which hopefully is going to work. Although we did speak to a couple of boys when we were at Fruxton, actually, about the clutch, and he said, I tried to get in touch with you before you ordered that clutch, but most of us just run stock, good quality clutches, no trouble at all. But he said that should feel a little bit like a standard one, just hopefully just give us a little bit of longevity when using it on a track. But there we go, guys, that is pretty much built up now. So what have we done? Obviously we've given everything a good clean and a blast thoroughly. I spent quite a lot of time on the cylinder head, blasting that, going through it, making sure that all the valve clearances were perfect and all the valves have been done, cut and ground, etc. We've sent off the alternator to AutoStart down the road from us, who recondition all our alternators. They've cleaned that up, made it like new. So that's an original alternator there that's been reconned. We've got a new water pump that's behind here. Obviously all this has been cleaned up. The Vanos unit, we're just going to give that a little bit of a clean. I didn't want to blast that or do anything to it, because this engine, before we bought it, had done very, very little use after he'd had the Vanos units rebuilt. And then it sat for like 2 or 3 years. So obviously we've just add it to bits as much as we dare to make sure everything's free. You know, add these covers off and what have you. Put new seals on it. Although it had new seals, but it has been standing, and we've put it all back together. Obviously the rocker cover, we've blasted that, painted it in satin black, machined over the top, so you've got the BMW M power standing out. Obviously we painted the block BMW blue, which some people like, some people don't, but just breaks it up. And the thing is, with a lighter colour we can see any leaks and what have you, so that's really the reason for doing that. Obviously the sump and all that's been blasted. We've got new exhaust nuts. So yeah, pretty much everything's done. We've got competition bearings, obviously ARP rod bolts in this, standard rods and pistons still. There was no ball wear whatsoever. And although I said to you that we never re-ring customers' cars, we have put a set of rings in this. It had done about 80-odd thousand miles, this engine, and the rings, in fairness, had started to look like they were getting a little bit tired. So we've just re-ringed it, some competition crank bearings, and, you know, just gone through it, refreshed it, guys. Obviously stripped out all the throttle bodies and blasted those. We've had the injectors checked and serviced with new seals, etc. from PJ Motorsport. They've done them for us in Wolverhampton. We've got the Nuke Performance fuel rail on there, ready to go. So as far as engines go, I think that's a pretty good looking engine. And what I wanted was the thing looking pretty standard, really. So all we're going to do is obviously put a decent air filter on there, and then maybe run an aftermarket ECU yet. Don't know. Going to have a chat with Auto Dynamics, see where we are with the budget, and, you know, see what he thinks, really. The only advantage really would be for going for an aftermarket ECU would be, because we've got the AIM dash and a PDM and all that, it would just be a bit better with some safety features on there, so the thing could like cut out. We're not reliant on us looking at the dash, really, if anything did go belly up. But yeah, I think it's really nice. I'm really, really happy with it, guys. I'm glad we've got it back together, because now we can get our bay back and get another engine on there. But yeah, what has this thing cost us so far? The engine. Well, the engine, I mean, as you all know, these S50s, B32s, so you've got the B30, which is the 3 litre, the earlier one. You've got the B32, which is the 3.2 out of these 36 Evos, basically. These engines are getting pretty sought after now, guys, especially ones that have done less than 100,000 miles. The advantages with this engine is obviously it's a subscriber of ours. This was in an E30, so everything it came with is straight out of an E30. So really all we've had to do is just recon everything. Little things like it comes with the brake master cylinder, everything, and it's had a bit of a modification down here, look, on the airbox to clear the, I think to clear the master cylinder maybe, something like that. But yeah, because it's out of an E30, it just goes straight back in. We ain't got to fart about. If we'd have bought a bare engine, which we have got 3 of at the back there, we've got to buy all the ancillaries to go with it. It's just going to be an endless nightmare, to be honest. So this engine here cost me £6,500. But if you have a look on eBay, that's not that bad, to be honest with you. I've probably chucked another 1,500 quid at the engine. I've got genuine BMW timing chain kit, obviously the bearings, rings, gaskets, all the rest of it. So 1,500 quid at it, so that owes us sort of 8 grand. But it did come with all this stuff. So 5-speed gearbox out of the early M3 E36s. It's got a plated diff. Obviously we've got the other diff that was in the BMW before, but I can't remember what ratio this is, but it's the right one apparently. Although it looks a bit grubby, it's perfect. That diff has not done much work at all. Obviously, like the brake master cylinder, we've got the wiring, engine wiring loom, the prop shaft, the correct one. There's loads of bits. Obviously the exhaust looking a bit scruffy, but we'll clean that up. Come with a spare inlet manifold. So 8 grand, engine's all been refreshed, looking mint, and we got all this other stuff to go back on it. So it's not that bad, guys, to be honest with you. I would not say. I mean, we all know what it costs to buy a donor Cosworth now and do it. It's going to be way more than that, and then you've only got the basic engine. So as far as sort of money per horsepower goes, it's a normally aspirated. It's 320 horsepower standard. I mean, by the time if we put an ECU on it, get it mapped, it's probably going to be a bit more than that. And that's going to be more than enough in a car that's probably going to weigh less than a ton, to be fair. So yeah, that's what the engine's cost me, guys. I'm going to go into how much the actual car has cost us so far in another video. But I'm really excited to get this thing done now. It's one of those pressures that's been lifted off me that the engine's all done. We can stick that to one side with a cover over it, and whenever the car's ready for the motor, plonk it in the hole it goes, and that's it, job done. So there we go, guys. I'm going to bugger off home now and enjoy the rest of my Sunday. I hope you do too. And till tomorrow's video in the main channel, I will see you again. Take it easy. Cheers, guys.